Hey yo, what is going on, viewers of the tube? If it's your first time here, I'm your host Tyler. And on the fourth day of CryptoMas, my Chico gave to me 4 DigiXDAO, 3 Zcash, 2 private dash, and a ledger with some BTC. Yes, today is day 4 of Chico's CryptoMas Riddle giveaway. And if you've solved the riddle in today's episode, first, you will actually win 5 DigiXDAO, but 4 was just a number we're on in the song, or the equal value in any crypto you want. I'm sure many of you are asking this question.
You are really Santa, right?
No, I'm an accountant. I wear this fucking thing as a fashion statement, all right?
Okay.
I'm actually Chico Claus. You know our Kris Kringle. It's time for Chico Crypto. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and cryptocurrency is about the transfer of value from the impatient to the semi-patient. Warren Buffett, Bitcoin is rat poison, is the one that came up with this quote when talking about the stock markets, which are wise words about time value and opportunity cost. Although this old timer has no idea about technology, he missed out on tech stocks and he'll once again miss out on crypto. But what do I, Chico Crypto, mean about the transfer of value from the patient to the semi-patient? Well, unlike stocks, you don't even have to be that patient in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin from 2009 to 2011 went from worthless to pennies to $32 in just 2 years, returns of over 3,200x. But then crashed to dollars, and those who were impatient suffered mass losses. But then for those who were semi-patient, their holdings went from $2 to nearly $1,200, a return of 524x in just 2 years. But then another crash, down to $150, and those ones who were impatient once again suffered mass losses. Those semi-patient ones only had to wait for 3 more years from the low to get returns of 130x. And that is if you just held Bitcoin. Altcoins hit the scene big time in 2013 and 2014. I mean, looking at CoinMarketCap in August of 2013, just before that cycle's bubble peak of 1,200, you see the next 2 top coins, Ripple and Litecoin. Both still around, and you could have gotten Ripple for 0.0059 cents and Litecoin for $2.90. If you sold at the peak in 2017, like both Ripple and Charlie Lee did, you would have made mass returns. Litecoin 122x and XRP 654x. Although you gotta be smart, you can't just go around and pick any old altcoin throwing darts blindly at a dart board. Because just go back to CoinMarketCap in 2013 and scroll through the rest of the coins below. Dead, almost every single one of them. And Litecoin, it's even back down to its 2014 peak levels, which is a terrible sign. So it's been 2 years since Bitcoin's 20 peak and about 6 months since the 14 mini bull run peak. These cycles usually go in 4 years, although getting extended out a bit more as time goes on. Patience will hopefully be rewarded for those that are able to stick around for the next couple of years. Why? Because what is being created by the top crypto projects can be considered economic bandwidth. The internet is communication and information bandwidth, and it didn't take hold until the late 90s. 20 years later, it makes up 10.1% of the United States' over $20 trillion GDP. Yes, a study was just released and it estimated that the internet sector contributed $2.1 trillion to the US economy in 2018. So this is just information and communication bandwidth that transformed the outside economy, not creating an economy inside of that internet. Bitcoin and Ethereum in their current decentralized forms are economic bandwidth, which creates an economy with assets built directly into their own networks, a true internet economy. So when people talk about Bitcoin, they put Bitcoin the asset and Bitcoin the blockchain network into the same basket. Same with Ethereum. Ether the asset is talked about one-on-one with Ethereum the network. BTC is just the base collateral and transfer asset of the Bitcoin blockchain, and Ether is just the base collateral and gas asset of the Ethereum blockchain. And the two networks and their respective assets do very different things, and why the comparisons and fighting between the two camps is downright ridiculous. Bitcoin is a transaction network using BTC, and Ethereum is a smart contract platform powered by Ether. They are entrusted with and in their current forms perform way different things. Let's begin with Bitcoin, liquidity and security king. It is time tested, been through hell and back, and still the Bitcoin network has been functional and up 99.9% of this time, with only 2 downtime events in its early history, 2010 and 2013, combined almost 15 hours. Since the last one in 2013, Bitcoin hasn't went down, coming up on 7 years straight uptime. I wonder how normal payment processors compare with uptime. They all shoot for 99.9% uptime, which, if we need an example, we just gotta look at Stripe's payment API. It has had that in the past 90 days, but there were downtime events in the last 3 months. And Stripe's payment API is the second highest CASC API score in the industry, even above PayPal. And these tools are built from internet information and communication bandwidth. The asset they're transferring is a physical one, dollars, that gets digitized down. And that physical asset hasn't even had 100% uptime in its own history. 1775, the Continental Congress of the US authorizes the issuance of the Continental currency, the first currency of the US, and it was denominated in dollars. By May 1781, Continentals had become so worthless they ceased to circulate as real money. Crazy monetary policies and the Revolutionary War destroyed it. Exchange rate to pounds explains this well. 1775, 3 Continentals equaled 1 pound. By 1778, it was 5 to 1. 1779, 30 to 1. 1780, 76 to 1. And by 1781, 167 to 1. And then after that, worth jack squooty. Ever heard of the phrase, not worth a continental? Yeah, that's not referring to the car, but the actual continental dollar. And it became popular in the 1780s. And you know what's crazy about those monetary policies? Where the notes had no backing in gold or silver, but were backed by the anticipation of tax revenues and the growth of the US economy. But the Revolutionary War needed paid for. Ben Franklin famously compared the runaway devaluation of the Continental as just a tax on US citizens to pay for that war. By July 6, 1785, the Continental Congress of the United States authorized a new version of the currency, the US dollar, which included a gold and silver clause, which says no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. So from 1781 to 1785, until the new gold and silver currency was circulating, there were no dollars in the United States. US paper currency went down for 4 years. 240 out of the country's 244 years is uptime, and that equals 98.36%. So blockchain networks are reliable and are proving to be more stable networks in an environment full of anarchy and distributed decentralization than their centralized counterparts. And that brings me into the next thing I would like to discuss, is the current economic bandwidth and power of each of these networks. Bitcoin was made to be a secure, reliable transfer of value using the digital asset BTC. This transfer of value is the same no matter what the size or amount. The only thing that can push a transaction faster through the Bitcoin network is associating an incentive, a large miner fee. I wish I could show you exactly the power of Bitcoin, but I don't have billions. But in September of this year, someone did. They transferred 94,504 BTC, worth over $1 billion in a single transaction. And they did this for a fee of 0.06 of a BTC, or $500. And they could have done this for a much lower price. Looking at average transaction fees on that day, they were only about $1.10. They did this to get the transaction to the top of the meme pool, and it would automatically be included into the next Bitcoin block and be fully confirmed in 10 minutes, because Bitcoin's block time is 10 minutes. Now, no other financial system in this world could perform that action for that cheap. Not Visa, not PayPal, not Swift, only Bitcoin. The only other system who eventually will be able to perform transactions like that is Ethereum. Actually, corporate Riddle could right now because they own 60% of their $8 billion market cap. But until the network gains more confidence, reliability, and actual customers, you will only see hundreds of millions being moved by the users. Going to XRP charts, just above 100 million in ledger payments, volume, or actual XRP being transferred in 24 hours. not a single transaction. But back to Ethereum. It's moving over 4x what XRP is. The 100 largest transactions moved over 200 million, or about 45% of the total moved. Whales are entrusting large sums of money with Ethereum, and a large amount of this trust comes from something special. Like I mentioned, Ethereum is a smart contract platform powered by the asset Ether. Because of the variety of contracts that can be built with the Turing-complete Solidity programming language, decentralized finance is blossoming. Which, according to DeFi polls, people are entrusting nearly 650 million into decentralized tools and protocols within Ethereum. This isn't an institution, but developers across the world creating the automated tools needed for this to thrive. And instead of me just speaking about it, let me demonstrate one of the tools now. How about getting a loan? How easy and quick is that within DeFi? Well, DeFi Saver is one of my favorite interfaces for a MakerDao CDP, aka using Ethereum or now basic attention token collateral and getting a loan in the system's stablecoin DAI. Going to DeFi Saver and hooking up a ledger, all you need to do is click Create CDP. You can then put in the amount of Ethereum as collateral. For our example, 86. Our over 10 grand Ethereum collateral will get us a loan for 4,358 stable DAI. This is all set at Maker's recommended liquidation ratio. You can increase or decrease the amount of DAI you get, increasing or decreasing the ratio. But as you can see, the more DAI you get, the lower the ratio goes, and the higher the Ethereum liquidation price becomes, putting you at risk. And vice versa. The less DAI, the higher the ratio goes, and the lower the liquidation price. And to finally take out this loan, all you need to do is click Create. Now that we have 4,500 stable DAI, we could maybe go and turn it to actual USD and go get some medical treatment at a hospital. Maybe I thought Ethereum was going to go up, so I bought more Ethereum with the DAI, did another CDP, got more DAI, and then even more Ethereum. Or maybe I just needed to pay a homeboy back. And you get that 86 Ethereum back when you return the contract, the 4,500 DAI plus any interest that occurred during the time you held the DAI. But only if you don't get liquidated and Ethereum comes crashing down. And why I love DeFi Saver, they have a tool called Automate, which will automatically repay your debt for you at certain liquidation ratios before you potentially lose your Ether collateral, including advanced features and a solid way to visualize everything about your CDP. The only requirement is at least a debt of 200 DAI, and of course, this is in beta, so use at your own risk. So if you see how Ethereum the network and Ether the asset is naturally the tools which made all this work, the collateral, the gas which made the smart contracts fire, the platform which created the stablecoin DAI, you get why it's a strong argument for economic bandwidth. Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time. And don't forget the riddle.
What the fuck's up, Swope? How the fuck you doing? You about to spit that nasty, dark doodle breath, stinking nasty fish flow.
Swope up on the corner, smoking marijuana, Northern California.